Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is Wednesday, April 15th. This is your next reading assignment due tomorrow, April 16th. It is titled The Crisis Deepens. Linked here, of course, is the reading. Two videos that talk about topics on the reading, and then the reading response questions, which you will want to make a copy of, respond to, and then turn in for credit. So go ahead and take a look. Let's look through what your reading's about today. The crisis deepens. That is referring to the crisis between the North and South. It says here, in this section, you will learn how conflicts over slavery led to violence. It's a lot of new vocab here, guys, and all of it is important for our understanding. All of them are on the Quizlet that is associated with this topic. First topic or term is Harriet Beecher Stowe. She's a woman who's the author of the anti-slavery novel Uncle Tom's Cabin. Anti-slavery meaning against slavery. Uncle Tom's Cabin is the anti-slavery novel written by Harriet Beecher Stowe. So those two terms work together. The Fugitive Slave Act, remember, an act is a law. This is a law that helps slaveholders recapture their runaway slaves. It was part of the deal, the Compromise of 1850. This is a term we looked at earlier in the year. Everyone says sovereignty. Popular sovereignty is where people vote to decide their fate. So this is a system where residents vote to decide an issue. The Kansas-Nebraska Act was a law that split the Kansas territory into Kansas and Nebraska and allowed the people in these territories to vote on slavery. And then lastly, we're going to hear about a guy named John Brown, who is an abolitionist. Remember, an abolitionist is somebody who's against slavery and wants it to end, but he was a very extreme and serious abolitionist. The reading starts by talking about the Fugitive Slave Act. And if you guys recall from the last reading, the Fugitive Slave Act was a deal, something that the South got in the Compromise of 1850. California became a free state, and the South got this law. This law, unfortunately, didn't just affect runaway slaves; it affected Black people across the United States. Many free African Americans in the North became victims of bounty hunters who would capture Black people who had very few civil rights and then bring them down to plantations in Mississippi and Alabama. So it was a cruel law. It was a law that certainly did not help things when you think about the differences or the tensions between the North and South. It does say here that any person who was who helped a fugitive slave or did anything to help them could be fined or imprisoned. So this really was a law that strapped some things onto white people, saying that they can't help them. It also basically admitted on a national and legal level that slaves were property to slave owners. The end of the reading talks about Uncle Tom's Cabin, which was this anti-slavery novel written by Harriet Beecher Stowe. It was one of the most read books of the 19th century. I think, like I said in my slideshow, it made the Queen of England cry. And it was just a really dark story about families being ripped apart, people being sold off, mass beatings, being hunted down. As you can see here, dogs hunting down Eliza, one of the characters from the story. It's a pretty graphic novel, and it really kind of changed people's perception. People in the North had no idea how cruel slavery was, and people in the South felt that was not an accurate portrayal of how slavery really was conducted. More on that in a minute. If we come down here to the next reading, it talks about the Kansas-Nebraska Act. So basically, as we read in the last section, these new territories, as America moves west, will they be free? Will they be slave? Well, one of the things that was introduced in Congress was something called the Kansas-Nebraska Act. It essentially set up the system of popular sovereignty. People who lived in those territories could vote and decide whether or not they wanted to be free or slave. So remember that the slave states are mostly in the South, free states are in the North and in the Western territories. But this new territory in the center, the middle of the country, this is what the act or law was targeting, was like, how do we decide if these are free or slave? And it really is up to the residents, the people living in those territories, to vote and decide. All of this led to something called Bleeding Kansas. Basically, people who were pro and anti, for and against slavery, started rushing into Kansas, moving there so that they could vote on the issue and make that either a slave or a free state. It ended in violence when there was people started shooting and attacking each other. Um, this is known as the Sack of Lawrence. It literally was a town that ripped itself apart over the issue. What this showed the nation was that white people were willing to commit acts of violence against each other over black slavery. One of the people who's involved in this, the Bleeding Kansas, as it was called, was a man named John Brown. He and his sons were passionately against slavery. John Brown believed that America was just a sinful country, and they were responsible, him and his sons, for murdering several pro-slavery settlers. So this violence really showed that the territories, out in the territories, that's where kind of the tensions between the North and South, between slave and free, were really being being kind of played out. The last part of the reading here is called Violence in Congress. And this talks about an incident that happened between two senators. I always get the names mixed up, but basically, who was it? Sumner was the northern guy. Okay, so this guy Sumner, he was a Massachusetts politician. He made this passionate anti-slavery speech in Congress. And this guy Brooks, who was a southern politician, slave politician, basically jumps over his desk and starts beating him over the head with a cane. And what this proves to the country is that, the violence isn't just out in the territories; it is happening on the in the halls of the United States Congress. And one of the things that was quite funny was that after the attack, many of the supporters of Butler actually ended up sending him new canes, just to show their support for what he had done. But Bleeding Kansas and the attack on Sumner in Congress really shows that the tensions between the North and South are not just tensions anymore. It's really spilling out into true violence. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the reading. There's some videos here that talk about John Brown and Bleeding Kansas. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. They're really short, but really check them out. They talk a little bit more about these topics in detail. I'm just giving a quick overview. And once again, the questions here, in response to the reading, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the questions are literally the same questions that are right here in the reading review. I'm just asking you to respond to them on this document here. Just to show you guys real quickly. I know you did this with the last one. It has an EQ. Here are just kind of what are the key vocab from the reading. Here are the questions that I want you to respond to. And I do want you to give a summary. Answer the EQ in 2 to 3 sentences. In 2 to 3 sentences, based on what you read, what were the conflicts over slavery that led to violence? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the reading. Take care of yourselves. Stay in good spirits. Work hard. Be nice. Have a good day.